The All Blacks just thrashed France in Wellington. But beneath the surface, a storm is brewing. One of New Zealand's most respected voices in rugby, Sir John Kirwan, has just questioned whether Super Rugby is actually hurting the All Blacks more than it's helping, and he didn't hold back. In fact, he went so far as to suggest that the Northern and Southern games are becoming different sports. Is this a wake-up call we've all been ignoring? Let's break it down. On the Rivals podcast, Sir John Kirwan lit the fuse. While acknowledging New Zealand's rich World Cup history, he called out a growing issue he believes is hurting both the All Blacks and the Wallabies: the level of preparation provided by Super Rugby. I think the biggest concern for us is Northern Hemisphere rucks versus Southern Hemisphere rucks, Kirwan said. I think the competency of ruck, and this could be the case in the Lions series as well, the Northern Hemisphere rucking is way different. He pointed directly to France as an example of a team mastering the breakdown in ways Southern nations are struggling to replicate. The French were really competent in that space. And here's where it gets even more pointed when comparing the Northern club game to the Southern. Is Super Rugby as close to Test match rugby as it used to be? My answer is no. I think Northern Hemisphere semi-finals and finals are closer to Test rugby. I think they're different sports. I love Super Rugby, it's open and flowing, but is it preparing us for those critical moments in Test rugby? My answer is no. These aren't throwaway lines. This is one of the greatest All Blacks of all time questioning the very structure of Southern rugby. And it wasn't just Kirwan stirring the pot. Springboks legend Victor Matfield backed him up, pointing out that this isn't a new issue, it's been brewing for decades. I don't think it's just this year, I think it's always been like that. He recalled a moment from his own career that echoes today's challenges. I remember back in 2004, we played Super Rugby, we did well. We went into the Rugby Championship, or the Tri-Nations as it was back then, and we won the Tri-Nations that year. Then we went up to the UK in the wet weather and we got smashed at the breakdown. Jake said it was like men against boys, or boys against men, and we're not physical enough. Matfield's diagnosis? The Southern teams are simply not matching the breakdown intensity seen in Europe. You can't have only 2 guys at the breakdown. You need to put more numbers in. You need to be there much earlier, so you need to put a much bigger focus on the breakdown. It can't be like in Super Rugby. Now, to be fair, these comments came before the All Blacks commanding 43-17 win over France. But does that performance really disprove the point? Because let's be honest, France didn't bring their best team. They rotated heavily. Their pack was under strength, so while the All Blacks were clinical, it's hard to say it was a true litmus test for how well Southern Rugby stacks up. So the question hangs in the air like a dropped pass on the try line. Is Super Rugby no longer preparing our players for the brutality of Test match rugby? Has the Southern Hemisphere, in its chase for speed and flair, sacrificed the edge that wins tight games? Sir John Kirwan thinks so. Victor Matfield agrees. Do you? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Kiwi Rugby Updates, where we dig deeper than the scoreboard.